marriage, the miracle of marriage, and we want to continue with that today. We had an extraordinary teaching last time you and I were together. We were talking about Ruth's commitment to Naomi. Ruth is one of the rare two women who've gotten their names in the 66 published books of the Bible, which is extraordinary. And she's an extraordinary woman who's part of the genealogy, the bloodline of the Lord Jesus Christ. In Matthew's Gospel, chapter 1, verse 5, we see she gets named as Jesus having been born through her. So it's very, very powerful, very powerful. And we have been expressing that as a result of the commitment that people have made to this ministry, to ATLAH, and perhaps to me as well, that Almighty God is offering miracles to people who, over the past 14 years, we've gone through some very dark, well, why do I call them dark? To me, I was just preaching. We've gone through some desperate times in America with respect to its political, religious, and a major change in gender identity and gender. 14 years ago, anybody had been talking about the fact that they're debating now about what transgender boy can now be on the girls' basketball team. You would say, you're crazy. But that's where we are. And it's through that period that I had to preach. And people stayed with me while a lot of people just walked away. And by the way, yesterday's conclusion message, as I was talking about how people who left me and Obama became if you will, their God. And, though I had been a faithful pastor to them and teaching and developing their lives in so many different ways, but when Obama and Trump came along, they just walked away. And then we had that extraordinary song by 12 Watts and Michael Guzman, Did You Just Walk Away? By the way, I need to tell you that Almighty God gave me that song, and I wrote it. He gave it to me several months ago. In a dream, he came to me and wrote that song, and I immediately called 12 Watts early that morning and gave it to her. She and Michael had performed it, but it was an extraordinary conclusion to yesterday's broadcast. Did you just walk away? And I never intended the song to be a question to the people that left during the two presidential ministries. It wasn't that reason. It was just that God told me to write it that way, and I wrote it. And what a beautiful performance, and also Plan Your Life as well. All right, so miracles. Almighty God is offering miracles to those who stayed with me, and we discovered yesterday an extraordinary event with Ruth. And her commitment to Naomi, and that commitment brought her into an extraordinary life. And we raised the question about Boaz. Is there a Boaz out there today? And can women begin to take the same steps that Ruth took in marrying Boaz and becoming the great-grandmother of David and great-great-grandmother of Solomon? Will that work? So what I'd like to be able to do is, and by the way, that Ruth statement, I'm going where you go, your country, my country, your God, my God, where you lodge, I will lodge, where you die, I will die and be buried. I'm thinking about working. I think I probably worked that into a wedding ceremony some time ago. And the next wedding I got scheduled on the schedule chart is that of 12 and Michael, and I'm probably going to work that into their wedding vows as well. Where you go, I go. Where you die, I will die. Oh, man, it's just absolutely incredible. But first, for the rest of you who are looking for a man, one of the prayers that you might be praying for is that God will send you a Boaz type. And what I'd like to be able to do today, and I want to heads up on all women and everybody over 16 years of age, heads up. In terms of because I want to do some teaching about, is there a Boaz out there for you? And how do you choose a man? How do you know the man you're choosing is going to be a righteous man, a Boaz? How do you know? And I want to try to give some, if you will, ways in which you can begin to determine that. So, in order to get married, first of all, you got to find a man, all right? And I want to look at what should you be looking for in a man. Let's say, what are you looking for? And here are some things I think are important. I think they can rate as the first, as far as I'm concerned, the first 7 criteria of any woman who's looking at a man, and whether she should marry him or even date him. The first thing I think is important for a woman, if you're looking to find a man and you don't want to be disappointed, you want to stay with him for the rest of your life, you want it to be a great marriage, then the very first thing I think is that you ought to check out his actions around his mother. Make him take you home to meet his parents, even before y'all go out on the first movie date. Now, that's probably hard to do, but, if it's something, I think it's important. You want to see if he's a mama's boy or not. And, if he's a mama's boy, you got no point in wasting your time going to movies and kissing him. So you want to see, but don't tell him that. Now, don't tell him, I want to find out if you a mama. Don't do that. That's because he's going to put on an act. But one of the things I decided before I decided to get serious with Elizabeth, it was I wanted to see how she acted around her father. And I didn't have a teaching like I'm doing right now. So you can mark this, all you young girls, you can mark, and women, old women, you can mark this item number 1. Check out his actions around his mother. Is he a mama's boy? That's number 1. But I wanted to see how Elizabeth acted around her father. His mother, his name was Albert Blanchard. He was from down there in North Carolina somewhere. And I want to see what kind of relationship they had. So we went up to and up in Waterbury, up on the hill where where she lived up there on the hill, whatever that was. Long Hill is what it's called. And I sat there and I watched them. I want to figure out, what kind of relationship, because I would determine what kind of relationship she had with her father. She lived with him a whole lot longer than she had been with me, and it'll give me some idea of how she's going to respond to me and to men in general. Now that works either way for men and for women. If daughters, if you're looking for a husband, find out how he is around his mother, and then whether he's a mama's boy or not, or whether he's just. Whether he's a boy that mama's always arguing with is not a good sign either. You got to find that perfect balance. Basically, what you're looking for is he his own man. That's what you're looking for. Is he his own man? And you got to be able to read the tea leaves on that one. That's number 1. Number 2, you need to review his job history. And you can do this casually. You don't have to ask him I heard Pastor Manning got 7 principles of how to find a Boaz. And in fact, that's what you can call it, 7 principles of how to find a Boaz. So I'm going through the principles with you. So Pastor Manning said for me to check out, don't do that. If you do that, he's going to start lying to you and flying to you. But you need to, in a casual way, maybe y'all sitting in a restaurant talking, find out about his job history. What his work ethics are like. And that's going to tell you something about what makes him tick. The ancients of days of years ago used to say, a man is defined by what he does, how he works. And the other item that I think is very important is that, I did a teaching many years ago called the 12 if you will, professions of the universe. And there are only 12. One of the professions of the universe is not acting. Acting is hypocritical, but farming, shepherding, sailing, craftsman, psalmist, medicine, priest, there are 12 professions, and therefore we have 12 seasons, and therefore we got 12 tribes. There are only 12 professions. Now, they could be broken up into law enforcement, to lawyer, a priest and doctor, that kind of a thing, or a singer and performer, but not an actor. But so you can determine who he is by what he does. What is his attitude towards work? What is his work ethic? I was teaching yesterday about how, a lot of men say, well, the white man's against us. That's the Hamites, they say that. And a lot of other Japheth say it as well. The boss is against me. He don't like me, and he hasn't promoted me, and all that kind of stuff. I tell a joke about Red and his 3 friends down on the Brooklyn dock. Everybody got promoted from longshoreman class 3 to longshoreman class 2, except for Red. And Red then asked the boss, how come I didn't get a promotion from longshoreman class 3? Why come I didn't get a promotion? And the boss said to Red, because we don't have a longshoreman class 4. Because Red was not a good worker. He didn't have a good work ethic. That's the whole idea. People never get the joke. Let me give you an example. We got Elder LaFleur, for instance, right? I said that, listen, if you're a good worker, you're going to get promoted, and you're going to get raises, and you're going to get paid. Every boss, I don't care whether you're white, black, chartreuse, Cherokee, Sioux, Navajo, Arapaho, Indian, whatever. If a man's an employer, now listen to this very carefully. If a man is an employer, he wants somebody who can run his business. He wants somebody who can run the shop. You don't have to run everything by himself. You don't want to, you want to be, and then if he wants to grow into something different, he needs somebody to take over the level that way. So he's looking for somebody to promote. He ain't looking to keep you in the, whoever thinks that the boss is just looking to keep you in a lower level status is a damn fool. And damn is in the Bible, Mark 16:16. Every employer, I can tell you, is looking for a man that he can promote. And if you're not promote worthy, he ain't going to do it. Because the higher up, the more responsibility, the more delicate the position is, and he just ain't going to give that to you if you ain't responsible. For instance, like people hear me say all the time, with Elder LaFleur, Adam Jacob LaFleur, he runs the school. Well, I go to sleep every night, never worrying about the school. Never. And that would be a big worry if I didn't have somebody who I trusted, who I knew could handle the school, handle the parents, handle the teachers, handle the curriculum, keep everybody safe, keep everybody in harmony. If he wasn't there to do it, I'd have to do that in addition to doing everything else I do. So I'm glad to have him, because what I'm going to say, no, you can't do this, or you can't, no, man, I don't even go down there to that school. Now, sometimes I make announcements, so I do some things because we have to keep the parents in focus because there's a lot of heat coming towards the church. ATLAH and his mission, his vision is anti-LGBTQ, is anti-Obama. So in that regard, I have to step up. But otherwise, I don't worry about school. I got a man down there who I put in charge. I put him in superintendent. He runs the joint. I go to sleep. That's just how that is. And you'll get that any and every job. I don't care if it's a job selling pencils. If you are a good worker, you're going to get promoted. If you're not a good worker, you're not going to get promoted unless somebody done lost their mind because people don't want to give you. So watch for that in a man. Watch for that. Ask about his job history. Where you worked at before? What kind of work have you done? You got to say it to him like that. But you want to get item number 2 when you're looking for your Boaz. Item number 2, check out his actions around his mama, and not so much that but is he disagreeable with his mama about everything, or is he agreeable with his mama about everything? Item number 2 is review his job history. All right. So item number 3 on looking for your Boaz, if he lies or he is dishonest. Now, especially in the online dating today, they lie up and down the blue streak online. And he put up pictures when they were 30 years younger. Watch out for that. I think you're smart enough to do that on your own. But if a person lies to you, if you're preparing to date somebody, right, and they lying to you because they want to impress you, forget it. That means he doesn't trust his own self-worth. That's just all it is to him. That's just all. If he's making up lies about this, about that, and this, and I'm a this, and I'm a that, forget it. You walk away. Because what he's really saying is that who I am, I don't really think is good enough, so I'm going to lie to you about what I think you might like. But he's telling you in that lie and everybody who lies does that, he's telling you in that lie that I don't believe that, I'm worthy. That I'm not necessarily worthy, but I know I ain't good. I know I'm not, and if he's dishonest and sneaky, if you can't trust him behind your back, if he's dishonest, don't go any further with him. I don't care, because once the lying starts, it's all over with. Just you say, well, he's handsome, he's got a car, this and that and the other. He passed item number 1 and number 2, but you get number 3 and you find he's a liar, walk away. Pastor, man, but I'm telling you, and there is nothing worse than having somebody who can sleep with you or can touch you, can get up on you at any time they want. They can come into your presence, but they're dishonest. There ain't nothing, I'm telling you, I'd rather be married to a complaining woman than have somebody who they're sneaky. They just don't you don't know, they do things behind your back, they throw stones and hide their hands. I'm telling you, you don't want to live like that. Nobody needs to live like that, all right? So if he lies or if he's dishonest or sneaky, you got to go. Because he ain't going to change. That's the way he's discovered the way he lives his life. And so that's, all right. So once if you can get past these next three, you may be into something by now. You may be, it ain't over with now. It ain't over with yet. But you may be into something. One of the things that led me to go ahead and agree and work with 12 Watts and Michael Guzman about their marriage is because I found him to be a giver. He came into church and he knew in the ministry, knew everything, but I found he was giving things, giving horns and gave me a horn and giving instruments and just giving things to people he just met 2 months ago. So I said, that's pretty good spirit. So I checked him out a little bit further. What I want to do now is that these two are about to get married. And that may be the first I'll use on the vows. And I got three more items I want to deal with. 4 more, I think, to get to the 7. This is symbolic. It's where Jesus was baptized. It's where John baptized. And so this is not a rebaptism. It's just a symbolic, if you will, act of what we're going to do, being in the water at the place where Jesus was baptized. And what I'd like to do is to baptize today that we would come to terms with the understanding of what God is calling for in righteousness. He's not calling for prosperity. He isn't calling for culturalism. God is calling for righteousness. If we would commit ourselves to fulfill all righteousness. And God has called us to be persecuted for righteousness' sake, as John was persecuted for righteousness, and so Jesus. I got to tell you that I'll never forget this experience of actually stepping in the water where Jesus were baptized, and where John has baptized so many people. This is such a historic and a powerful, powerful sight. Just to touch the water was so critical. And I'm glad that people got baptized to have that experience. It was a safe experience and a great experience. I'm not even going to change my clothes. I want to just stay in baptism mode until I get back to the hotel. So that's what I want to say. All right.
This has been live from the Jordan River. God bless you all. Peace.
Righteousness. Boom, chakalaka goes right there.
Over the years, we have served more than 1 million meals to hungry bellies and hungry people here in the Harlem community. And I wanted you to be able to see that. I want you to see our involvement with youth, our summer youth programs, our courtyard being used as a place where children can be safe, guarded, and protected as they have their miniature swimming pools. And a safe place for children to eat that is guarded, that is protected by our own sense of security, and the wholesome and fresh meals that we serve. We wanted you to be able to see the mission of this church. And we've been doing this for years. Just recently, one of our members, more than a 30-year member of this church, but it hasn't, not one that that you would probably find as members of some other churches with their nose stuck up in the air. But her father is now close to death or very sick in the state of South Carolina. And I said, because she doesn't have money, I said, we will buy you a bus ticket, a round trip bus or train ticket for you to travel to South Carolina to be with your father in this time of pandemic. There's very little funding around. There's sickness everywhere. And the thing that just blew me away was she said, as she was talking to Elizabeth, she said, but how are you going to do that, to pay for me a round-trip ticket to travel and give me expense money? And because Pastor Manning has to feed the children, he has to educate the children, he has to buy school supplies for them, he has to pick them up in the mornings and take them back. And then he's got the ministry he has to take care of, all the bills of running the church, of keeping a major house like our house operational, keep the lights on, how are you going to be able to do that? And she was almost reluctant to take the money because she felt that it would be better served by feeding the children. We gave it to her anyway. But we want you to know that we do a work in this community. There have been a lot of lies told on us. And it's almost unimaginable why some of the people that have lied on us. But I can tell you behind all of it is the LGBTQ community. Hallelujah. They don't want us to be successful, but we are, and we're going to continue to be successful in serving the meals that we're serving and serving the people that we are. And the LGBTQ community will not take us down. They are not going to take our church. Yet they've defamed us. They've written ugly newspaper articles about us. They've marched against us. They've done a whole lot of ugly things. But you see what we have done, and that's not even the half of our service to children and to the needy in terms of our homeless shelters and the things that we've done over the years. And we will continue. And probably the lies and the smears and the ugly newspaper articles and the wicked spirits and the so-called I ain't for the black man, that is not going to go away. I don't expect it to go away. I don't. But I do tell you this, that we will succeed against all of that, for God is with us, and I am his servant.